One quiet exit changed the CEO's entire life. She never looked back. Before we begin this incredible journey, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories. Ain't the rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of Sterling Dynamics' 45th floor, creating rivers of water that distorted the city lights below. Inside the executive suite, Jennifer Walsh sat at her mahogany desk, reviewing quarterly reports that should have filled her with pride. Instead, they felt like chains around her soul. At 32, Jennifer had built Sterling Dynamics from a small consulting firm into a global powerhouse worth $8 billion. Her company specialized in revolutionary business automation, solutions that transformed how corporations operated worldwide. Fortune magazines had called her the youngest self-made female billionaire in America, yet success had come with a price she was only beginning to understand. The office around her reflected her achievements. Awards lined the walls, certificates of recognition covered every surface, and photos with world leaders decorated her bookshelf. But the space felt cold, empty, like a museum dedicated to someone else's life. Jennifer had learned to measure everything in numbers, profits, and quarterly growth. Relationships had become transactions. Emotions had become liabilities. Her assistant, Robert Kim, knocked softly on her door. An efficient man in his 50s, Robert had been with her for 5 years, managing her schedule with military precision. He entered carrying a stack of documents that represented another day of endless meetings and difficult decisions. "Mrs. Walsh, the board meeting has been moved to 2 o'clock, Robert said, placing the papers on her desk. "The investors from Germany confirmed for 4, and the charity dinner tonight has been rescheduled due to the storm." Jennifer nodded without looking up from her computer screen.
Ow.
The charity dinner was for children's hospitals, a cause she supported generously, but attended reluctantly. These events were networking opportunities disguised as philanthropy, where she smiled for cameras while calculating business advantages. "Thank you, Robert. Please have the financial projections ready for the board meeting, and confirm my flight to Tokyo tomorrow morning." Robert hesitated for a moment, something unusual for him. "Mrs. Walsh, when was the last time you took a real vacation? Not a business trip, but actual time off?" The question caught Jennifer off guard. In 8 years of building her empire, she had never considered taking time for herself. Vacations were for people who had finished their work, and her work was never finished. "I don't have time for vacations, Robert. We have 3 major acquisitions pending and the European expansion to oversee." "But Mrs. Walsh, you haven't left this office before midnight in 3 weeks. You're working weekends, holidays, and that's what success requires," Jennifer interrupted, her voice sharper than intended. "While competitors rest, we advance. While others take breaks, we capture market share." Robert's expression softened with concern. "Success that costs your health and happiness isn't really success, is it?" His words hung in the air like an uncomfortable truth. Jennifer had built her empire by avoiding uncomfortable truths, by focusing on what could be measured and controlled. But Robert's question touched something deep inside her that she had buried years ago. The storm outside intensified, and Jennifer found herself staring at the rain-streaked windows. Somewhere in the city below, people were having dinner with their families, reading bedtime stories to their children, or simply enjoying quiet moments together. When had she last experienced such simple pleasures? Her phone buzzed with a text from her younger sister, Emma. "Tried calling you again? Its birthday party is this weekend. It's turning 7 and keeps asking why Aunt Jennifer never comes to visit. I know you're busy, but family matters too." Jennifer stared at the message, feeling an unexpected ache in her chest. She had missed David's last 3 birthdays, her parents' anniversary, and countless family gatherings. Each absence had been justified by urgent business needs. But now they felt like missed opportunities to be human. The board meeting that afternoon went perfectly. Profits were up 18%, market share had expanded, and shareholders were thrilled with the company's performance. Jennifer presented the numbers with her usual confidence. But inside, she felt strangely disconnected from her own success. As the sun set over the city, Jennifer remained in her office, working on strategies that would make her company even more successful. But for the first time in years, she wondered if success was worth the price she was paying. The next morning arrived with deceptive calm. Jennifer had worked until 3 a.m. reviewing contracts for the Tokyo expansion. But she felt alert and focused as she prepared for another day of conquering the business world. Her routine was precise. Gym at 5 a.m., protein shake for breakfast, and arrival at the office by 6:30. But today would be different in ways she couldn't imagine. The elevator to the 45th floor stopped unexpectedly on the 23rd floor, where Sterling Dynamics housed its research and development division. A young woman entered, carrying a small potted plant and wearing a genuine smile that seemed out of place in the corporate environment. "Good morning," the woman said cheerfully. "I'm Lucy Chen, new hire in the R&D department. You must be Mrs. Walsh. I've heard amazing things about your vision for the company." Jennifer studied Lucy carefully. She appeared to be in her late 20s, with bright eyes and an energy that Jennifer hadn't seen in the corporate world for years. Most employees approached her with nervous formality, but Lucy seemed genuinely happy to meet her. "Welcome to Sterling Dynamics," Jennifer replied formally. "I trust you'll find our work environment challenging and rewarding." Lucy's smile widened. "I'm sure I will. I brought this little plant from my desk. I know it sounds silly, but I believe workspaces should feel alive, not just efficient." The comment struck Jennifer as odd. In her world, efficiency was everything. Workspaces were designed for productivity, not comfort or personal expression. Yet something about Lucy's enthusiasm was refreshing. "Plants in the office can be distracting," Jennifer said, though her tone was gentler than usual. "Maybe," Lucy replied thoughtfully, "but they also remind us that growth happens naturally when we create the right environment. I think the same principle applies to people and ideas." The elevator reached the 45th floor and Jennifer stepped out, but Lucy's words followed her. Growth happens naturally when we create the right environment. It was a simple concept, but it challenged everything Jennifer believed about success and control. Throughout the morning, Jennifer found herself thinking about the brief encounter. During the board meeting, she noticed how the executives sat rigidly around the polished table, their faces serious and guarded. When had business become so joyless? At lunch, instead of eating at her desk while reviewing reports, Jennifer decided to walk through the lower floors of her building. She wanted to see how her employees actually worked. Beyond the sanitized reports she received from department heads, what she discovered surprised her. The accounting department was quiet and efficient, but the atmosphere felt tense. Employees spoke in hushed tones and seemed to avoid eye contact. In contrast, the research and development floor buzzed with energy and creativity. Jennifer found herself outside the R&D department, watching through glass walls as teams collaborated on projects. She spotted Lucy at a workstation, her small plant sitting proudly on her desk, surrounded by colleagues who seemed genuinely engaged in their work. "Mrs. Walsh?" came a voice behind her. She turned to find Dr. Michael Torres, the R&D director, approaching with a concerned expression. "Is everything all right? If you don't usually visit this floor?" "I'm conducting an informal assessment," Jennifer replied, though she wasn't sure why she was really there. "How is the new employee adapting?" Dr. Torres smiled. "Lucy, she's remarkable. In 3 days, she's already contributed fresh perspectives to 2 major projects. More importantly, she's raised the energy level of the entire team." Jennifer watched as Lucy laughed at something a colleague said, her joy infectious. When had Jennifer last laughed at work? When had she last felt genuine enthusiasm for anything beyond profit margins? "What makes her different?" Jennifer asked. "She remembers that innovation comes from passion, not just process," Dr. Torres explained. "She asks questions that challenge our assumptions and brings a sense of wonder to problem solving. It's refreshing." That evening, Jennifer attended a networking dinner with potential investors. The event was held at an exclusive restaurant, where powerful people discussed deals over expensive wine. Jennifer moved through the crowd with practiced ease, making connections and identifying opportunities. But halfway through the evening, she found herself observing the scene as if from outside. Everyone was performing, playing roles designed to impress others. Conversations felt scripted. Smiles appeared forced. Genuine human connection seemed impossible. Jennifer excused herself and stepped onto the restaurant's balcony, where the city lights twinkled below. The cool night air felt refreshing after the stuffiness of the dinner party. "Overwhelming, isn't it?" came a voice beside her. Jennifer turned to find Thomas Wright, CEO of a competing firm, also seeking refuge from the social performance inside. "Business dinners aren't what they used to be," Jennifer replied diplomatically. Thomas laughed. "Thought they never were what they pretended to be. We convince ourselves that networking is relationship building, but it's really just mutual exploitation. Dressed up in expensive clothes?" His honesty surprised her. "Then why do we do it? 'Cause we've forgotten there's another way," Thomas said thoughtfully. "We've made business so complex that we've lost sight of its simple purpose: solving problems for people." Jennifer considered his words as she returned to her office later that night. The building was empty, except for security guards, and her footsteps echoed in the marble hallways. She had always taken pride in working longer hours than anyone else. But tonight, the emptiness felt profound. In her office, Jennifer found herself staring at a photo on her desk. It showed her with her parents and sister at her college graduation, all of them smiling with genuine happiness. She had been so full of dreams then, so excited about the future. When had that excitement been replaced by relentless pursuit of metrics and market dominance? The Tokyo trip should have been a triumph. Jennifer had successfully negotiated a partnership that would expand Sterling Dynamics into 3 new Asian markets, potentially adding $2 billion to the company's value. The Japanese executives had been impressed by her preparation and strategic vision. But as her private jet crossed the Pacific Ocean on the return flight, Jennifer felt an unexpected emptiness. The victory that should have energized her instead left her. Questioning everything she had built, she pulled out her laptop to review the contracts, but found herself staring at a blank screen. Outside the plane's window, the ocean stretched endlessly, beautiful and mysterious. When had she last looked at the sky just to appreciate its beauty? Her phone buzzed with a message from Robert. Excellent news about Tokyo spreading through the company. Everyone's excited about the expansion. Jennifer should have felt proud. But instead, she wondered if her employees were excited about the growth or just relieved that their jobs were secure. She had created a company culture based on performance and results. But had she forgotten to create a culture where people could thrive as human beings? Back in her office the next day, Jennifer found herself drawn to the research and development floor again. She told herself she was checking on productivity, but truthfully, she was seeking something she couldn't name. Lucy was at her workstation. The small plant on her desk now accompanied by a few family photos and a hand-drawn card from what appeared to be a child. Her workspace looked personal and alive, completely different from the sterile efficiency Jennifer had always demanded. "Mrs. Walsh," Lucy said, noticing her presence. "How was your trip to Tokyo?" "Successful," Jennifer replied automatically. "We secured the partnership and expansion rights." Lucy's eyes lit up. "That's wonderful. It must feel amazing to create opportunities for so many people." The comment puzzled Jennifer. "Create opportunities?" "Well, yes," Lucy said with genuine enthusiasm. "New markets mean new jobs, new partnerships, new solutions for customers. Your vision doesn't just build a company, it builds connections between people across the world." Jennifer had never thought about her work in those terms. She focused on revenue, market share, and competitive advantage. But Lucy saw human connection and global impact. It was the same business success, but viewed through completely different eyes. "How do you see it that way?" Jennifer asked, surprising herself with the personal question. Lucy smiled. "I guess I think about the story behind the numbers. Every client we help is a person with dreams and challenges. Every solution we create makes someone's life better. Every partnership builds bridges between communities." That afternoon, Jennifer attended a routine meeting with her senior management team. They discussed quarterly projections, cost reduction strategies, and efficiency improvements. The conversation was productive and professional, but Jennifer found herself thinking about Lucy's perspective. What about employee satisfaction? Jennifer asked, during a brief pause in the presentations. Her CFO, Patricia Stone, looked confused. Ma'am, employee satisfaction? How do our people feel about working here? The question created an uncomfortable silence. Patricia consulted her notes. Our retention rate is above industry average, and productivity metrics are strong. That's not what I asked, Jennifer said gently. I asked how our people feel. Her head of human resources, David Kim, cleared his throat. We conduct annual surveys, but they focus primarily on benefits and workplace efficiency. Jennifer realized she had created a company that measured everything except what might matter most. Whether her employees found meaning and joy in their work that evening. Instead of working late, Jennifer decided to visit her parents. She hadn't seen them in 3 months, despite living only 2 hours away. Her childhood home felt smaller than she remembered, but warmer and more alive than her executive office. Her mother, Grace Walsh, greeted her with genuine surprise and delight. Jennifer, what a wonderful surprise. You look tired, sweetheart? I'm fine, Mom. Just busy with the business. Her father, Robert Walsh, emerged from his study, where he had been reading. A retired teacher, he had always valued education and human connection over material success. How's the empire building going? He asked with gentle humor. Jennifer felt a familiar tension. Her parents were proud of her success, but she had always sensed their concern about the cost of her achievements. We just expanded into Asian markets, she said. It's a significant growth opportunity. That's impressive, her mother said. How are you doing? Not the company, but you personally. The question caught Jennifer off guard. When had someone last asked about her well-being instead of her business performance? I'm successful, Mom. The company is thriving. Profits are strong, and we're expanding globally. Success isn't the same as happiness, her father said quietly. I taught thousands of students over the years, and the ones who found real fulfillment weren't necessarily the ones who made the most money. Jennifer felt defensive. Money isn't everything, but it provides security and opportunities. Of course it does, her mother agreed. But balance matters too. When was the last time you did something just because it brought you joy? Jennifer couldn't answer the question. She had structured her life around achievement and acquisition. But joy had become a luxury she couldn't afford as she drove back to the city that night. Jennifer found herself thinking about Lucy's small plant and family photos. Such simple things. But they represented something Jennifer had lost. The ability to find meaning in everyday moments. Her phone rang as she approached her downtown apartment. It was Emma, her sister. Jen, I'm so glad you called Mom and Dad. They've been worried about you. Fine, Emma. Just building a business. I know, but you're also building a life. Are you happy with the life you're creating? The question echoed in Jennifer's mind as she entered her empty apartment. The space was beautiful, decorated by professional designers with expensive furniture and artwork. But it felt like a hotel room, not a home. She looked at herself in the bathroom mirror and saw a successful woman who had everything she had ever wanted. But the eyes staring back at her looked tired and lonely. The crisis arrived on a Tuesday morning that had started like any other. Jennifer was reviewing acquisition proposals when Robert burst into her office with uncharacteristic urgency. Mrs. Walsh, we have a situation. The Environmental Regulatory Commission is launching an investigation into our manufacturing partnerships in Southeast Asia. Jennifer's blood ran cold. Sterling Dynamics had carefully structured its international operations to maximize efficiency and minimize costs. The partnerships in question were completely legal, but they might not withstand the scrutiny of modern environmental standards. What's the potential exposure? She asked, immediately shifting into crisis management mode. If they find violations, we could face fines up to $500 million. Worse, the publicity could damage our reputation and affect client relationships. Jennifer spent the next 8 hours in emergency meetings with lawyers, compliance officers, and public relations specialists. The situation was complex and potentially devastating. The manufacturing partnerships that had helped make Dynamics so profitable might now destroy everything she had built by evening. Jennifer was alone in her office, reviewing legal documents and trying to understand how she had missed. This risk? She had always prided herself on thorough due diligence, but somewhere in the pursuit of efficiency and profit, she had overlooked the human and environmental costs of her business decisions. Her phone rang. It was her sister Emma. "Jen, I saw the news about the investigation. Are you okay?" Jennifer felt tears threatening for the first time in years. "I don't know, Emma. I might lose everything. The company, everything. My reputation, my life's work, my identity. Without Sterling Dynamics, I don't know who I am." Emma's voice was gentle but firm. "You're my sister. Your mom and dad's daughter. You're a person with value that has nothing to do with your business success." After hanging up, Jennifer sat in her dark office, surrounded by the symbols of her achievement, the awards, certificates, and photos that had once filled her with pride, now felt like evidence of misplaced priorities. She thought about Lucy's plant, thriving in a small pot on a desk. Such a simple thing, but it represented growth that was natural and sustainable. Jennifer had built an empire, but had she built it on a foundation that could last? The next morning brought more bad news. 2 major clients had suspended their contracts pending the outcome of the investigation. The company's stock price had dropped 12%. And business journalists were questioning the sustainability of Sterling Dynamics. Aggressive expansion strategy. Jennifer found herself walking through the office floors again, but this time, she was seeing her company through different eyes. Employees looked worried, their conversations hushed. She had created thousands of jobs, but now those jobs were at risk because of decisions she had made in pursuit of profit. In the research and development department, she found Lucy working quietly at her desk, the small plant still green and healthy despite the crisis atmosphere throughout the building. "How are you holding up?" Jennifer asked. Lucy looked up with a sad smile. "I'm worried about everyone. People are scared about their jobs, their families. It's heartbreaking. You could probably find another position easily," Jennifer said. "Your skills are valuable." Lucy shook her head. "I don't want another job. I want to help fix this one. I believe in what we're trying to do here, even if we've made some mistakes." Her loyalty was surprising and humbling. Jennifer had inspired fear and respect in her employees, but Lucy was offering something more precious: faith and redemption. "What would you do?" Jennifer asked. "If you were in my position?" Lucy considered the question carefully. "I would remember why I started this company in the first place. What problem were you trying to solve? What positive impact did you want to have?" Jennifer thought back to the beginning, when Sterling Dynamics had been just an idea in her small apartment. Had wanted to help businesses operate more efficiently, to eliminate waste and improve productivity. The goal had been to make work more meaningful and effective for everyone involved. "I wanted to make business more human," she said quietly. "I wanted to create solutions that would help people focus on what matters most." "And that's still possible," Lucy said with quiet confidence. "Maybe this crisis is an opportunity to recommit to those original values." That evening, Jennifer made a decision that would change everything. Instead of hiring expensive consultants to manage the crisis, she would take personal responsibility for the company's mistakes and work to fix them herself. She called an emergency meeting with her senior management team and announced her plan. "We're going to conduct a complete audit of all our partnerships and operations. Where we find problems, we'll fix them.
Where we find harm,
we'll make amends. And where we find opportunities to do better, we'll take them." Patricia Stone, her CFO, looked concerned. "Mrs. Walsh, that approach could be very expensive and might not satisfy the regulators." "I'm not trying to satisfy regulators," Jennifer replied. "I'm trying to build a company I can be proud of." The room fell silent. For 8 years, Jennifer had made decisions based on profit maximization and competitive advantage. Now she was proposing a different approach entirely. "What if this destroys the company?" David Kim asked. Jennifer looked around the room at her senior team, people who had helped her build Sterling Dynamics into a global powerhouse, and will build something better from the ruins. 6 months after the crisis began, Jennifer stood in a completely transformed office. The sterile corporate environment had been replaced with spaces that reflected the company's new values. Plants decorated every floor, artwork created by employees hung on the walls, and collaborative spaces had replaced rigid conference rooms. The environmental investigation had resulted in significant fines, but also in something more valuable, a complete restructuring of Sterling Dynamics' approach to business. The company had terminated partnerships that caused environmental harm, vested in sustainable manufacturing, and created new standards for corporate responsibility. The financial cost had been enormous. The company's value had dropped by 40%, and several competitors had gained market share. But something unexpected had happened. Employee satisfaction had soared, client loyalty had strengthened, and new customers were seeking out Sterling Dynamics, specifically because of its commitment to ethical business practices. Jennifer had changed too. She worked reasonable hours, took weekends off, and had reconnected with her family. Her apartment had been transformed from a sterile showplace into a warm home filled with books, plants, and photos of people she loved. Lucy knocked on her office door, carrying a small wrapped package. "I have something for you," she said with a smile. Jennifer opened the package to find a small potted plant, identical to the one Lucy had brought to the office months earlier. "For your desk," Lucy explained. "A reminder that growth happens naturally when we create the right environment." Jennifer placed the plant on her desk, where it joined family photos and handwritten notes from employees. Her office now looked lived in and personal, reflecting the person she had become rather than the image she had tried to project. "I have news," Jennifer said. "The board has approved the new structure. Sterling Dynamics is officially becoming a benefit corporation, committed to balancing profit with social and environmental impact." Lucy's eyes lit up. "That's incredible. You're creating a model for how business can be a force for good." "We're creating it together," Jennifer corrected. "I couldn't have done this alone." The transformation hadn't been easy. Jennifer had faced criticism from shareholders who wanted maximum profits, competitors who called her weak, and analysts who questioned her business judgment. But she had also received support from unexpected sources, employees who felt valued for the first time, clients who respected the company's integrity, communities that benefited from Sterling Dynamics' new approach. The company was smaller now, but stronger, more focused on sustainable growth than rapid expansion, or committed to long-term relationships than short-term profits, or interested in solving real problems than just capturing market share. Jennifer had learned that true success wasn't measured only in dollars and market dominance. It was measured in the positive impact she could have on employees, customers, and communities. It was measured in the kind of person she became in the process of building something meaningful. Her phone buzzed with a text from her nephew David. "Aunt Jennifer, thank you for coming to my birthday party. It was the best one ever." Jennifer smiled, remembering the joy on David's face when she had arrived with a present and stayed for the entire celebration. She had missed so many family moments while building her empire, but she was creating new memories now. Robert Kim appeared. In her doorway, with her afternoon schedule, "Mrs. Walsh, you have a call with the sustainability partners at 2. The employee wellness meeting at 3, and dinner with your parents at 6. "Perfect," Jennifer said, noting how different her schedule looked now. Instead of back-to-back meetings focused on profit maximization, her days were filled with activities that aligned with her values. As the sun set over the city, Jennifer looked out her office window at the lights beginning to twinkle below. Somewhere in those buildings, people were finishing their workdays and heading home to their families. She had once seen the city as a battlefield where she fought for market dominance. Now she saw it as a community where she could contribute to something larger than herself. The small plant on her desk had grown since Lucy had given it to her, its leaves reaching toward the light. Like the plant, Jennifer had found the right environment for growth, not the harsh, competitive atmosphere she had once thrived in, but a balanced ecosystem where success was measured by more than financial metrics. Jennifer gathered her things and prepared to leave the office at a reasonable hour. She had dinner plans with her parents, and tomorrow she would visit Emma's family to spend time with her nephew. Her life was no longer defined by the pursuit of endless growth and profit. but by the relationships and values that gave her work meaning as she walked toward the elevator. Jennifer passed through the Research and Development Department one more time. Lucy was at her desk, working on a project that would help small businesses reduce their environmental impact. Her plant had grown too, and several colleagues had added their own small gardens to their workspaces. "Good night, Lucy," Jennifer said. "Thank you for everything. Thank you for showing us that business can be beautiful," Lucy replied with a genuine smile. The elevator doors closed, and Jennifer descended from the 45th floor. But she was no longer the same person who had risen to those heights through relentless ambition. She had learned that true success wasn't about reaching the top of a mountain, but about helping others climb with you. The quiet exit that had seemed like a crisis 6 months earlier had become the beginning of the most meaningful chapter of her life. She had discovered that sometimes losing everything you think you want is the only way to find everything you actually need.